The message was discovered drifting at the edge of the Perseus Veil, embedded in a lattice of dead satellites and frozen transmitters that had long since lost their orbits. To the coalition of listening worlds, it appeared first as noise, an ancient, degraded signal repeating on frequencies no one had used in tens of thousands of years. It took a dedicated archivist, Lyra Voss of the Aurelian Ring, to recognize that the static carried structure. Not coordinates. Not a greeting.
Just a warning. Run.
The word was encoded in 100 extinct human languages, layered atop one another like sedimentary rock. Beneath it were fragments, images of a blue world, flashes of cities burning, silhouettes of vast shapes blotting out stars. The signal had been repeating for nearly 40,000 years, looping endlessly, powered by autonomous machines that no longer knew why they existed. Humanity, it seemed, had not gone quietly. Long before the signal reached alien ears, Earth had been the center of a thriving interstellar civilization. Humanity had spread across nearby systems, built habitats around red dwarfs, and threaded space with trade routes and quantum relays. They were not conquerors, nor were they saints. They were curious, ambitious, and relentlessly inventive. And that was how they died. The thing that ended Earth did not arrive in fleets or announce itself with fire. It came as a mathematical anomaly detected in deep space surveys, a pattern in gravitational background noise that shouldn't have existed. Human scientists named it the quiet equation, a self-correcting imbalance in space-time that appeared to be learning. At first, it was studied. Then it was contained. Then it broke containment. The quiet equation was not alive in any sense humanity understood, but it behaved with purpose. It consumed complexity. Stars destabilized near it. Planets fractured into rings of debris. Information itself, data, memories, even neural patterns, became unreliable in its presence. Humanity fought it the only way they knew how, with technology, with sacrifice, with escalation. Entire star systems were collapsed in controlled supernovae to slow its spread. Billions died buying time for trillions yet unborn. They failed. Earth fell not in fire, but in silence. The planet's magnetic field unraveled. Oceans boiled into space. The last transmission from the Sol system was not a farewell or a cry for help. It was a command broadcast in every direction, seeded into self-repairing beacons and sent beyond the galactic rim.
Run.
Lyra Voss listened to the final layers of the message in a quiet chamber beneath the Aurelian Ring's archives. Around her, holographic projections reconstructed Earth's final days, fractured continents, orbital debris fields, the moon split by tidal forces no natural process could explain. What could scare them this badly? Her assistant asked softly. Lyra didn't answer. She was focused on something else, timestamps. The signal wasn't ancient history. It was ongoing. Whatever humanity had fled from, it hadn't stopped. She brought her findings to the Coalition Council, a gathering of species that had once believed the universe to be vast enough to outrun any threat. The council chamber buzzed with disbelief as the word run echoed through translation matrices. Some dismissed it as the paranoia of a dead species. Others argued it was a weaponized myth, a relic meant to scare rivals away from human territory. Then the stars near the Perseus Veil began to dim. Not explode, not collapse. Simply diminish, as though reality itself were being edited. The quiet equation had crossed into coalition space. Panic spread faster than light ever could. Evacuation fleets launched from border systems. Archives were copied, cultures compressed into data vaults. Old disagreements vanished overnight as ancient enemies shared star charts and refuge plans. For the first time in recorded history, the coalition spoke with one voice. They needed to run. But where humanity had once fled outward, the coalition realized there was nowhere left to go. The equation did not chase ships or civilizations. It expanded according to rules no one fully understood, consuming regions of space-time with inevitable patience. In desperation, the coalition turned back to the human signal. Hidden beneath the warning, Lyra discovered something else, a second layer buried deep within the noise. It was faint, fragmented, and clearly never meant to be found quickly. A plan. Humanity had known they could not defeat the equation. Instead, they had chosen to cage it. The message included designs for structures built not of matter alone, but of stabilized paradoxes, regions where cause and effect looped endlessly. The quiet equation could not consume what never resolved. Humanity had constructed such a prison at the edge of known space, sacrificing their core worlds to lure the entity inside. Earth had not been destroyed accidentally. It had been bait. The coalition argued for days. Some species refused to believe it. Others were horrified by the scale of the sacrifice. But the evidence was undeniable. The prison coordinates matched gravitational scars visible even now, vast distortions in the cosmic background where something immense strained against impossible constraints. The prison was failing. Humanity's machines had maintained it for 40,000 years, but entropy always wins eventually. The warning had not been about humanity's past. It was about everyone's future. A decision was made. The coalition would finish what humanity started. Construction began on a scale never before attempted. Entire stars were dismantled to harvest exotic matter. Civilizations volunteered their home systems to anchor the paradox lattice. Species whose lifespans span millennia offered generations of effort without expectation of survival. Lyra oversaw the integration of the human designs, her hands trembling as she realized the final truth embedded in the plans. The prison could be sealed permanently, but only from the inside. Humanity had lacked the numbers and time to complete it. They had chosen to warn instead. The coalition, standing on the shoulders of a dead species, now had a choice humanity never did. Someone would have to stay behind. As the quiet equation pressed against the weakening walls of its cage, reality warped across 1,000 systems. Stars flickered. Histories rewrote themselves at the margins. The universe itself seemed to hold its breath. Volunteer ships lined up at the edge of the prison zone, vessels crewed by beings who knew they would never return. Lyra stood on the observation deck of the last command station, watching them depart. She recorded one final transmission. "This is Lyra Voss of the Aurelian Ring," she said, her voice steady despite the weight of history pressing down on her. "To whoever hears this in the future, we listened. Humanity warned us, and we listened." Behind her, the prison lattice ignited, paradox fields snapping into place like cosmic chains. The equation screamed, not in sound, but in broken laws of physics, in impossible geometries folding inward. Then, slowly, the distortions stabilized. The universe exhaled. Millions of years later, long after the coalition had faded into myth, another civilization would stumble upon a drifting signal near an ancient scar in space-time. They would decode it with difficulty, puzzled by its simplicity. Just one word, repeated endlessly.
Run.
And beneath it, almost too faint to detect, a second message, never meant as a warning, but as a testament. We held the line.